Alright, so the last one is it's the same thing. 79 fleet size Scottsdale. Code's R74. It's from last year, release 36. It's a little more produced, 9600. I noticed on this one the bed's kind of got a little tweak in it. I know the dualies are real bad about that. Hopefully this thing can be kind of straightened out with some fitment. But cut this thing open, and I actually had a little thought last night whenever I was doing these other two. They do look so good sitting on the lifts in comparison to other ones I have. I might just keep them out on the lifts, and I was trying to think of what square bodies to put with these, and I actually found some Auto Worlds that I have put up. And believe it or not, the color combos on the 3 Auto Worlds that I don't have on display are going to look really good with all 3 of these. So when we get done putting this one together, I'll try to make this a little shorter. I'll show you all the wheel color options and all that, and make a decision on wheels and tires and what have you. And I'll put them together off camera since they're already taken care of in the other ones. Again, I can't express my frustrations. This one's actually got some decent background on the card art. That really resembles an ad from that time. So, very nice job, M2. Finally. I'm just kidding. They'll do a lot of things good, but there's always room for improvement. Okay, I'm gonna give you all a good look at the truck. It's like a kind of a metallic maroon. I'm not sure if that was a factory color then. It may just be a... I know this dark red was because my stepdad had a 77 or 8 stepside that was all this color. It wasn't metallic, it was like almost color just lift. That was way back. That truck was only probably 12 years old when I saw it for the first time. He didn't have it very long. Hood's real stiff on this one, but it stays up. I'm gonna have to really look at... Hopefully we can fix that bedside. That's gonna be a problem. And here's the... It's got almost like a turbine wheel. And then I actually like these like slotted, looks like a hollow brand or some kind of tweak Colorado custom or something. I'm sure American Racing and all them guys made a variant like that, but that's a good looking wheel. That's going to be a tough sell. Anyway, let me get these things busted apart, and I'll do a little look-see, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we have a little bitty problem. These axles on this truck are all for the same length. On these trucks, they were different lengths because I'm assuming the rear wide tires in the rear. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here without making custom axle lengths, but the problem I'm having is this. Oh, and something else I wanted to point out. Some of these model kits, I guess, have a specific front and rear tires. So yeah, the widths are different. And the offset on the wheel is really more or less the same. But it'd probably behoove you to pay attention to taking these things out of the package, because I just wanted to check after going through some of that stuff last night. I am trying to put the front axle in on here, and it is definitely and push it through the hole so you can see where it's at. All right, see how it's up against the hub, if you will, how it sticks out so far. Axle's not even sticking out. Now, unless they got this hub spacing on these wheels wrong, which is a possibility, this would actually work. Wouldn't work that great, but these wheels, you know, are made for the front. And as you can see, the narrower part, that's the rear differential and the leaf springs. There's the transmission and what have you. Back of the oil pan. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. This one may have to get put together after the fact. The other wheels, these turbine style wheels, they're pretty much the same. They have a huge hub sticking out, which makes zero sense. I really wanted to go with those wheels, but I guess I can try to play with it some more and just see if it comes up with something, and go from there. Give me just a minute, we'll try that. Alright, so I want to show you all this before I put this front tire on. Finally got this rectified, more or less. Well, that axle is long enough by plenty, but I'm probably going to have to glue that rear tire back on, because when I was trying to get the other axle to fit, I heard something snap. I think I broke the inside of the little portion of the wheel hub. But we'll, yeah, let me just put a little glue in there real quick, because I'm not going to change these. So what I did, I cannot praise to the fact that you always got to keep spare everything with a bunch of things, right? Tools, car parts, models, whatever. Just know that it's always good. If it ain't hurting you to keep it, just hang on to it, because you're going to use it at some point. And what I had to end up doing is taking the front leftover axle off of these two trucks because it was longer and it was a perfect fit for this truck. And it didn't really matter which wheel I went with, but like I said, this is the other set of wheels here. I thought they were like a turbine wheel, like that Dodge D250, but this is more of a custom. But these are the fronts. That's their width. Could probably put some calipers on them, but you should be able to see the width comparison. These are the rears. When I pushed this one on, it wanted to get all wonky, so I was really hoping not to use those wheels. They might look good on something else. I personally didn't think they'd look that good on this truck with this color scheme. But with it having a tan interior, it probably wouldn't have been the end of the world. So, again, having those spare axles really saved me. I'm glad that I left them out from last night, so I just had to try it. You know, for those of you who do wheel swaps and customize, it's probably, you know, just another day at work, right? You just clip your own links and make your own I'm not there yet, right? I work on everything else, and I love tinkering with stuff, but I really just don't want to go there. Personally, it's just, you know, after you fiddle with guns and cars and everything else around your house, you have to kind of put limits on things. So not saying I won't ever get there, but I'm just not into it yet. So I know why they put these third screws in the middle of these. It's to help support that bed. The other trucks weren't like this on these press rivets, but I think what happened was they had that rear screw in that chassis super tight. I mean, it was like I almost stripped the screw out taking it out. So when we put the base back in there in the chassis, we'll have to kind of play with it, and we may have to put some more pressure on this one or the front or the rear, just so we can get that straightened up as best we can. It would probably never be perfect, but instead of being like this or like that, like I said, the dualies are real bad about this. Just be warned whenever you buy one of those C30s, or I'm not sure they make K30, but they have a real bad tendency to be up like that because the chassis is so long. Wheelbase is a little longer on it because it's a long bed. And the ones I have, or have had, they have a plastic base, which that truck should definitely have an aluminum base for rigidity. So, gave the glue some time to set up on the chassis and that wheel. Let's go ahead and put the motor in here. Get the rest of this thing put together so we can get the lifts. I'm going to put them up on the shelf, probably over here in front of the Cadillacs, because the other portions of the shelves are kind of full. And I'll get y'all some footage of that later in a different video. I'll do like a shelf scan or something. But put the motor in there, press it in real good, shut the hood on it. See, I got these 3 chassis screws here. Those are the axles that came with it. And I wish I had some of the other axles that I used left over, but this chassis is a little different than those other 2 because of the tire width. Those are all the same length, as you can see. There are 2 different lengths on these other trucks because they have the, like I said earlier, the wire tires in the rear. But again, it was glad that they actually provide, spare axles for each truck, or each wheel set, if you will. I would have never been able to put this together without having to do some other custom stuff. So we'll let this one sit in here. I did not do a roll check because of the glue, and I really wanted to go with these wheels. I'm glad I did. That just looks 10 times better than this, in my opinion. Yeah, try to look sharp. Anyway, we'll throw the screws in there and put this thing back together, and I'll try to straighten that bed out like I was telling y'all. See if we can get the tweak out of there. We'll just put these in little by little. I'm going to put the best screw in the middle because I think we're going to use it the most. And like I said, it may not get worked out and get perfect, but if we can get part of the way there, so be it. And that thing is not having it. I think we're going to be fighting this. Oop. I'd like to know what size screws these are. Thread pitch and all that. This thing just doesn't feel right. Oh, I'm doing it again. It is not. No, it's right. Just didn't want to start. Like at all. I had to push it in. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Good Lord. Alright, let me tighten them up and see. That's the rear. That ain't too bad. Maybe it does need that metal screw, honestly. Let's tighten up the front and see what it does. Maybe that was the problem, the way this chassis and this cab are casted. It almost feels like that shouldn't even be in there. Let me take a look in there. I don't know. I'd like to have it just so it's kind of stronger. But that is definitely way better out of the package than it was. For sure. I don't know. Let me see if we can put... Let me swap a screw out. No, these are all too long. I guess I could take one from the other trucks. Something just wasn't feeling right about this screw. Let's see. And naturally, I'm not going to have... Oh, no. I guess I can put one of the oversized head ones in there. That will fit. negative on that. Negative. It's not long enough. Alright, let's try this again. I'll try to get this thing done. If not, I'm just going to leave it and I'll mess with it off camera. It's like it wants to start, but then it don't, but then it does. I don't know. Like, that's in there, but man, that dude is just not. I'm just going to leave it out. Because it's held together pretty good the way it is. I mean, I'm pushing on it and it's nice. Let's just leave it alone. Sometimes it's just best to leave it be. Anyway, 79 fleet side. I have a little more gravitation to this one because my 78 Blazer was GM metallic brown with white and racetrack molding separating it, and I had like a plaid interior, but it had the buckskin color on the dash and the rear of the seats. Mine was a Cheyenne. You know, it had cruise, air, tilt, all that. Bucket seats, console. It's a nice truck. Alright, so it'll go on its lift. And what I wanted to show y'all, let me do a little housekeeping here. I'll pull out these Auto Worlds that I've had in my jammer cases that I think would be a real nice fit to go under these, since I don't have a whole smorgasbord of M2 square bodies. Mostly I have Blazers and Broncos, but the trucks I'm a little shy on. I'll put these over here. Alright, that can go over there. Damn it. These axles, man, if you don't have if you don't have fingernails, you're gonna fight them. What I've just been doing is picking them up like that, because I just don't have all my gunsmith and stuff out, you know, to tinker with this stuff. I probably need to do that. Okay. So on the yellow one, my thoughts were, man, I thought I had this better. So I'll show you what I got. We'll do a little close up, or at least try. Bear with me on the camera pan, y'all. So Auto World makes a really nice square body. What I love about their trucks is the detail is pretty nice, but you get an opening tailgate. This is one of the better looking ones that I have. I think I have more than these three. I know I have a few of the step side four-wheel drive that's lifted, but this is actually a four-wheel drive that's lowered. I think it's one of the better looking trucks. The stance is great on this. It's nice and clean and plain and simple. Who doesn't love a black short bed? But I was thinking initially that this one would go under with the Desert Fox is black. Oh no, I know what it was. I'm sorry. I got it. Anyway, this is I can't remember what year these are. Yeah, 85. They have open hoods on them. So this one will go under the yellow truck because it's lowered, and it, you know, black and yellow. And this truck has a lot of black on it, black wheels, you know, black graphics, what have you. And then this other one is a Hemingway, or sorry, not a Hemingway, Hemmings Auto News. Anybody knows anything about vehicles? It's like a world countrywide classified cars for sale and what have you. This truck is really sharp. It's got a different color package on it, and I figured, and again, these are all four-wheel drive. This is like the factory height model, and then the one that like the step sides are, they're like a lifted with 35s. But this one would look really good on the Desert Fox because it has all that style decal package, what have you. And then the other one, since it's kind of a weird two-tone, or more of a classic OEM look, you know, as far as paint, I have And the other Auto World is an 87. This truck was I'm fired. Hold on, let me check. 79. So this is an 85. That's 79, obviously, because of the round headlights. And this is 87, which would have been, I believe, the first or the second year fuel injected 350. Again, open and tailgate. I love that feature. That's just, and they all fit really nice. They all shut. They all latch. I love Auto World and their license plates. I think that's a really nice touch. This one says truck 1987. It's cool because even this being a factory height truck, you can see the front differential. You know, this truck never came with, you know, big tires on them anywhere from the factory. They're always way too tiny because they had those tall gears in them. But I figured this two-tone truck would look really good. Even though it's about 10 years newer, it'd look good with that. So these three have been in the jammer cases. I don't have them on the displays and haven't, as best I know, yet. I was going through these Auto Worlds last night before I started putting these together. Just, like I said, checking roll quality, and I haven't looked through my Auto Worlds in a while. And I said, you know, I got these trucks sitting in here, and I'm opening 3 of these model kits. Maybe I'll put them together, or maybe I'll make a display. And when I saw these M2 trucks on the lifts, I said, man, they really fit. You know, I need to modify these lifts at some point. I'll do that later. But for now, I'm just going to set them on the shelf and put these Auto Worlds underneath it. And the color combos kind of work. These two clash a little bit, but what does kind of make them fit, in my opinion, is, you know, this one's got that tan interior, and this has that buckskin, or, you know, light brown bone color, whatever you want to call it. So I'll close this one out. I'll put the bags up and kind of tidy up, and I'll find a spot for these on the shelf, and I'll drop that video later whenever I take it. Thanks for watching.